What's up, interweb? RhyQuinn here, and welcome back to the GBA Season 4 playoffs. And today I'm going to be taking you through the second round, the Conference Championships in the playoffs. And today I am not joined by Adam. Instead, unfortunately, he couldn't make it. But instead, we have the coach of the Pittsburgh Pirate Stars. We have OldManTup.
Hey, what's happening, Tugga peeps? OldManTup coming at you today. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and I hope I fill Adam's shoes.
I'm sure you will. So, we're going to get right on with the matches. Tup, if you want to lead us into our first match, I believe you're going to talk about A-Drive versus Polkaman in the Sinnoh Conference.
Yep, that's it. Talking about my personal conference, and we had Dan, a.k.a. A-Drive, and John, a.k.a. Polkaman, facing off for the conference championship. And John was the only person who had beat Dan in the regular season going into this. So he had the best overall odds of breaking the wall core again. So it was a really, really good match. A few misplays on both sides, but nothing major. And it was just a fantastic match. Both coaches prepared extremely well. And ultimately, what it came down to was who predicted the other coach's team the best and was the most prepared. And in the long run, it ended up being Dan. A fairly hacksless match, which was fantastic to see. I'm sure Dan loved that above all else. But turn one was just crazy in this match. And if you didn't see it, John led with Empoleon and Dan led with Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen fired off an Earth Power, which Empoleon lived. That put Empoleon into Torrent Boost, went for a Scald, left Nidoqueen with 1 hit point, and got the burn and took it out. So, I mean, it just right off the bat, Dan lost his rocker, and John's stealth rocker was on the cusp of death. After that, I think was probably John's biggest mistake in the match was not making it so he could get rocks on the field, because I think if he had preserved Empoleon turn 2 instead of sacking it, it might have turned the tables just a little bit. It might not have changed the outcome of the match. But, I mean, hindsight's 20/20. We can say what we think they should have done all day long. But in the moment, it wasn't a terrible decision sacking Empoleon because it gave him momentum going forward because Dan brought in Rotom and just volt switched out. So from there, John having knockoff on Mega Venusaur was huge. Getting the Eviolite off of Chansey, which helped him in the long run, take that thing and just beat the crap out of it with Psyshocks. But ultimately what won Dan the game, in my opinion, was how he played this Mew. He had a Mew the entire time. John was trying to guess what item it had, and all the way to the end, he didn't know. He thought the majority of the time it was choiced. It turned out not to be. It was a really unique and good set. This Mew outsped or tied everything possible on John's team except for Raikou. Raikou is the only thing on John's team that out and out outspeeds Mew at max speed, and he didn't bring it. So all Dan had to do at that point was wait until the only thing that he ended up bringing that speed tied it was, I believe, Entei. And once he got worked around to where he could set up a nasty plot, it was good game at that point. And that's, I think, the way he played that Mew. And the smartness of the setup, it just paid off for him. And he won the match 3-0.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I feel like it was an amazing match. The caliber of playoff matches has been amazing so far. And yeah, like you said, the way that Dan played that Mew was really the thing that won him the match. I don't think there were as you said, too many misplays on either side. It wasn't like one person like choked it away or anything like that. It was just a very solid match. Both coaches playing really well, but it just came down to the slightly better preparation from Dan than it was for John. And as you said, Dan just played very well. Well, both of them played very well, but in the end, it was Dan's Mew that pulled through for him, and I think that's pretty much what won in the match. There was a very interesting set from Kieran Black from John, which was a substitute Hone Claws Kieran Black, which almost worked, but not quite, because the Mega Sableye was able to break the substitute with knockoff. If it hadn't been able to break the sub, then maybe it would have been a different story, because after one Hone Claws, I believe John said that Dragon Claw 2-hit KO'd the entirety of Dan's team. But hey-ho, the knockoff was able to break the sub, so unfortunately it didn't quite pay off for John there. But it was, as you said, a very great match. And yeah, it was a 3-0 victory for the St. Louis Rampardos, and they're going to be moving on to the final. Now the question is, who are the St. Louis Rampardos going to play in the final? And for that, we have to go across to the Hoenn Conference Championship match. And this is Hank the Pigeon, the Winnipeg Aquajets, taking on Megamogwai and the Real Maril. Now, this match, oh my goodness. Again, another incredible match. It came down to the narrowest of victories. It was a 1-0 victory for the Real Maril over the Winnipeg Aquajets. And in this match, the entire deciding factor, the win condition, the everything for Miguel was Waffles. The return of Waffles. Obviously, it was a bad dog in his match against the Cincinnati Loudreds, not having max happiness. But on this one, it turns out to be a very good dog. He did not bring it as a Sandra sweeper, though. He brought physically defensive Stoutland with Intimidate. And that combination, being physically defensive with Intimidate, meant that it was actually a switch-in to Mamoswine and to Sharpedo, which was huge for Miguel, because Mamoswine absolutely just ran through Miguel's team, so he needed that switch-in with Stoutland, and he got it. Turn 1, switched in Stoutland on Mamoswine, and I believe he took about 23% from an Icicle Crash, which was insane to take such little damage from a very powerful Mon. But moving further on in the match, there was a little bit of a stall segment between Hippowdon and Crobat. Crobat trying to Super Fang and wear down the Hippowdon, while also roosting, and the Hippowdon going for slack-offs and earthquakes and rock slides, trying to earthquake the Crobat on the roost and trying to rock slide on the turns that it didn't. And eventually, Hippowdon managed to come out on top of that one, which was very nice for him. Miguel made some very nice plays going for a superpower and a switch into an Umbreon with Stoutland, able to take that out. And it was a extremely close match towards the end, coming down to there was actually if you want to call it hacks, there was a bit of hacks from both sides on this one, in that Miguel's last two ones were Mega Lopunny and Stoutland, and the Mega Lopunny got critted with an Icicle Crash and got taken out from Mamoswine. And then on the following turn brought in Stoutland, and then Hank misses an Icicle Crash, allowing Stoutland to take out the Mamoswine, leaving only Sharpedo left, and Sharpedo couldn't take out Stoutland with a Waterfall, and it managed it to take out with a Play Rough. So that was just pretty crazy ending, having the crit followed by a miss with the Icicle Crash. But this was amazing match, very solid plays on both sides, great switches, great predictions, and I believe one of the greater matches from this season in the GBA. Like, it was incredible match to see, and at the end of the day, it was a 1-0 victory for the Real Maril. Very solid match, which means that the Real Maril are going to face the St. Louis Rampardos in the final. So what did you make of this match, Tup?
Well, everything you said, spot on. Some of the things that I noticed, especially that swung to Miguel's favor, was Miguel's walls outright beat Hank's. I mean, just ridiculously. I mean, when it was Umbreon versus Florges, Florges had Moonblast. When it was Crobat versus Hippowdon, Miguel had the appropriate coverage between Rock Slide and Earthquake and got the prediction game right. And one thing that I think really helped Miguel in here was the importance of Sandstorm. That really helped his Hippowdon take down Crobat. It really helped him whittle down Pinsir without actually getting any damage on it, especially towards the end of the match. And that really just got Miguel out to an early lead. It helped him mid-game, and it helped him finish up the match.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's actually something I didn't even notice, but now you say it, yeah, that's absolutely spot on. Yeah, didn't even notice that before, but absolutely, that's yeah, wearing him down was actually really crucial. And one play I've actually just remembered as well was Miguel's Victini being able to take out the Infernape, which was a roll, I believe. Being able to just take out Infernape on the switch in, which again just granted him with another mon down and another threat out the way for Miguel, because that definitely could have run through, especially the likes of Megalopoly and Stoutland with the potential priority it had. Yeah, as you said, really, really solid match. But now we have the final to look forward to, the GBA Season 4 final, and that is going to be the showdown that I think quite a lot of people wanted to see, and that is the Real Maril from the Hoenn Conference taking on the St. Louis Rampados from the Sinnoh Conference. Miguel Megamogwai versus Dan A-Drive. So, Tup, who do you have winning the final?
Now, this is a really difficult decision for me because I'd like to see someone from my division take the championship because that speaks well for my division. But at the end of the day, we have to look at the best wall core in the league versus the best preparation and possible player in the league. And ultimately, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say A-Drive is going to pull some fancy shenanigans along the lines of Cooper, and he's going to find that one set on one of his Mons that Miguel isn't going to be ready for, that is just going to throw him for a loop, aka Water Pulse Blissey. And I think that Dan is going to be able to keep his Mons healthy enough that he will outlast the best preparation in the league.
Wow. Okay, that's... See, again, is a very, very tough call, because I think a lot of people would have pegged Polkaman against A-Drive from the fact that he's beaten him a few times, combined preseason and in the actual regular season as well, and the fact that he had some of the best wall breakers that were drafted in the whole season. I think a lot of people would have pegged Polkaman over A-Drive, but the fact that A-Drive managed to come up with a set and pull that off, there's no reason hypothetically why he can't do that again against Miguel. Having said that, I just feel like Miguel, his preparation is going to... I think he's going to out-prepare Dan. I don't think there's anything... I know that this seems like a very bold statement to make, but I don't think that there can be something Dan can do to out-prepare the best preparer in the league. I just think that Miguel's team matches up incredibly well against Dan's team, and I know people have said since day one, the Megalopoly destroying the Mega Sableye Chansey core, but it's not just that. There's other things too, and I think that Miguel is going to know what does well in his team. He's going to bring it. He's going to exploit the holes in Dan's team, and I don't know if there's much that Dan can do about it. But having said that, he has just pulled off a big win in his book, and he's definitely confident too. So I know that he's definitely going to plan some shenanigans, but it's just whether they will be able to shake Miguel enough is another question. That's another thing that Miguel's incredibly good at, is if he's thrown off his game, he's very quick to come back on it again and find a new route to try and get to the finish line. That's something Miguel is incredibly good at. So even if Dan does bring something a little bit weird, a little bit crazy, shake Miguel off his game, I just don't know if it's going to be enough for Miguel to just be thrown completely off course. I think Miguel will come back on again, and he'll find another way to get that win. So I'm going to say that the Real Madrid are going to win this one. But it's going to be close. It's not going to be an easy victory for either team. I feel like this is going to be one of the matches of the season. The matches from the playoffs so far have been amazing, and I don't see why that's not going to continue into the final, pretty much. You got anything else to add to that?
I completely agree with everything you say, just the outcome of the match. We have the two best differentials in the league. We have what I believe to be the best differential in GBA history, which was Miguel at plus 33. Both coaches are 9-1 coming off of the regular season, and both of them just played really good against their opponents to springboard them into this final. So, both of them are going in with the head of steam with nothing but the most confidence in the world. So, it's just going to come down to those 1-2 plays that's going to break open the match for somebody.
Absolutely. I cannot wait. So I hope you guys are excited for the final. We have some really special plans for the final. For the championship match, we have some really special plans, so stay tuned on the GBA channel and follow the GBA Twitter if you want to keep up to date with everything that's happening, because that's where you're going to find out. And it is happening this Sunday. This Sunday is the championship match, and it's gonna be big. It's gonna be amazing. And as we said before, the caliber of the playoff matches has been incredible. No reason why that doesn't continue to the final. So, I cannot wait. Oh, it's gonna be amazing. So, this is the final recap video. This is going to be it for recap videos for GBA Season 4. Unfortunately, Adam couldn't be here, but I know that he's had an absolute blast this season, and I have too. So I want to thank you all for your for watching all the videos from the GBA channel this season, and there's still a few to come from now to the final, but this is maybe the last time you see me on the GBA channel for now anyway. So I wanted to thank you guys for this season. Obviously my first season as an analyst, so it's been awesome. Thank you very much, and until next time, I guess we'll see you guys soon. So I've been RhyQuinn, he's been Tup, and you've been awesome. Bye bye.